Right, we're Punch Out Boxing. Delight to be here with top trainer Tony Sims. Even though your son didn't pick you up at the press conference, he was going on about Shane McGuigan. I'm thinking, oh, you're going to have a word with your boy. Yeah, Tony, first time speaking to you. So thanks for your time. Yeah, how do you assess your two boys headlining? Uh, we know they're big punchers. Did you see something from them that you wanted to, that you're looking for? Did they deliver everything that you've been working on, and what do you want for them next?
Yeah, like you say, they're big punchers and obviously both massive ticket sellers. So, the personalities, got both great personalities, and we've got two opponents tonight that have never been stopped. One's had 20 odd fights, one's had 30 odd fights. Both never been stopped, and they've done a lot of damage in there. We've been a couple of Jimmy 2 rounds and George 1 round. So, technically they're very good, smart, good-looking boys. They sell a lot of tickets, and they've both got a great future in front of them.
And in a red hot division, I was just sort of looking down the rankings. Look, for the first time in years, the middleweight divisions, it's about to become really hot. A lot of youngsters all over the country coming up. Some great fights. What do you want from him next? You got no, the leashes are off, I take it.
Well, he's matched against Jordan Reynolds in 31st of January at the Indigo, George Liddard. That will be for some sort of title. And Jimmy SAINS will be on that card as well, hopefully for the Southern Area title. So both of them have got title fights next. They'll have like a week off now and a bit of turkey over Christmas, and then 31st of January they'll both be ready. The good thing about them two is they're so dedicated to the sport. They live the right life, and they're both going to push on for titles. And it's an exciting time, as you say. Sometimes you get times in divisions where it ain't great, and then it becomes a lot of good fighters. Like when John Ryder was a middleweight, you had Billy Joe Saunders. You had got a lot of good fighters around at his stage. And then when Darren Barker was a middleweight, when I had him, you had like Andy Lee, Martin Murray, Matthew Macklin. It was a great division. So, I've got two boys here who can make this division great again, and they're exciting times. Obviously, George is about a year in front of Jimmy at the minute, experience-wise. So he'll be challenging for bigger titles, quicker than Jimmy. Jimmy's still on the learning stage. He's got, he ain't gone past 6 rounds at the minute, but he's a great prospect. They both are, and I'm pleased with both of them.
Absolutely. What do you look for from your fighters before you like step them up? Is it like not just the technical aspects, also the psychological? Because saw George first time headlining, no sign of stage fright, just took it all in his stride. In fact, he relished it.
Yeah, and I think when you're confident in your ability, then that everyone gets a little bit of nerves before they go out, and but when you believe in your ability and you know that you've put 110% into your training, you can do that 10 rounds at a good pace. So it gives you confidence, and you see that in George tonight. He's fighting a fella with a good record, and it was all over early, and I'm proud of George. He's, as you say, his first 10 round of headlining, and what a crowd in there tonight as well. To headline in front of, and he's a great prospect.
He is indeed. Tony, you've been in this game long enough. You know how cruel and unforgiving it can also be. But the time you've been, how does the sport, how does it measure up right now? I mean, as a fan, it seems so exciting. Saudi Arabia, talk of this tournament for prospects. Turkey Al Sheikh has announced, and George has already said, hey, count me in.
Yeah, exactly. It's exciting times, and Saudi are doing big things for boxing, as we see. And I think it probably all started off with Anthony Joshua all them years ago. I mean, started doing big stadium fights, and he brought boxing into the public, and I think boxing's just gone up and up, and since then, and obviously Saudi are putting on these great fights, and it's just boxing's just at a different level. I remember when I was first a coach, I remember, you know, going to watch world title fights here at the York Hall and weren't even sold out. Or the Elephant and Castle, which was an 800 seater. Would go and watch world title fights with good fighters, top fighters as well. You know, so from then until now, it's a totally different sport. And, you know, it's great. It's great for the fighters and for everyone who's involved in it.
Is it fair to say this is the best time in the history of British boxing?
It's hard to say, obviously, because I remember the fighters that have, you know, I remember coming here and watching like Maurice Hope win the British title here. I was about 14 years old or something. I remember him 15-round fight against Tony Paul, and I think he stopped Tony in the 12th or 13th round. But you know, that was a great time. You know, you had John H. Tracy. I'm going back to the 70s. You know, you had Tony Sibbs and Alan Minter in the 80s. So you've had great fighters through the years for Britain. But I think now it's on a massive scope now. You know, the crowds are huge, and it's just a great time for boxing at the moment.
Yeah, long may it continue, and we've got to enjoy it while we can. How would you assess your boy Charlie's first promotional gig? He experienced some of the difficulties, you know, with was it the 2 fights at late pullouts? But that's part of the course, isn't it, with this sport?
Exactly, like up until a couple of days ago, you know, he had like 9 fights on, and then bang, you got 6 fights on. People pull out, and that's boxing. But listen, I think it went really well, and I'm proud of him. His first ever show. It's not easy doing your debut show, but I thought he'd done it really well. Everything from the press conference till tonight. I think it went great, and the crowd really enjoyed it, and it was a great crowd in it.
Yeah, great to have some young promoters bring some new energy. Did Charlie ever box? Was he any good?
Yeah, he had a couple of amateur fights for the Repton Boxing Club, and so he's boxed and been in the rings. You know, he was only young, obviously, 11, 12, but he's boxed. You know, he's been around boxing his whole life, so he knows all about it. He's been a manager for many years now, and like you say, he's really young. He's moved into the promoting world, and he's a very smart, intelligent person, and you know, I think he's got a great future ahead of him in boxing. He's put this show together on his own, and he's done really well.
Yeah, indeed. One last thing. Are you a Hammers fan?
Of course I am. You see the T-shirt, don't you?
Okay. Well, let's hope George gets that big fight at the London Stadium one day. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a night, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, as I said earlier, he's got a great future in front of him, and I'm looking forward to his coming fights.
Absolutely. Tony Sims, thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you again.